Excellent. Good morning. This is new. Oh, Jen, you are so good at that.
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, whatever day it is, whatever time it is. Here we are with the self-love experience, asking the question, how do we love ourselves today? And today I'm so excited to have a really special guest and live in person. DL, so good to see you. Jen Oliver is with me. She's a TEDx speaker. She's Love Fit Mama. She just finished a segment about her book. Yes. On I think it's KSI. It's the KFBN. What was it that? Yeah,
CBS.
CBS. It's the CBS 8. It's the channel we watch all the time. I should know what it is, but it's Channel 8 here in San Diego. Morning radio, and it was super, super exciting. Yeah, DL, really, really good to have you watching, and excited for your event coming up. DL, Jen is now on a tour, so share with us a little bit about, a little bit more about who you are and what, why you, who are you?
Yes, so I'm Jen, and I'm all about love, and many years ago, I realized that doing all this superficial work that I was doing with clients in fitness and nutrition, that really it was just scratching the surface of what people actually needed. So it was kind of like a gateway that people found, oh, okay, if I do, more exercise, or if I take better care of my food intake, I'm gonna feel better. But what people really wanted was to feel better. And so I realized that so often this avenue of food and fitness actually didn't make people feel better. They just were chasing that because they thought it would. So it was kind of a long, drawn out situation where I was working at a gym, and I was, I really found that some people started at the gym and they continued, and then some people started at the gym and they never showed up again. And so that was what really prompted me to say, okay, there's something deeper. It's not just about the gym. It's not just about the food. While those are important, it goes deeper. So how deep can it go? And that's where I came into learning
Your
about
why.
Yeah, exactly. And learning a lot about heart coherence. So I don't know how much you talk about that with your stuff too, Gwen, because
definitely.
it makes a huge difference, I know. And, helping people understand that what we see superficially isn't a representation of what's going on inside. And now with social media and with all the things that are out there for us to have even more superficial access to others, we're comparing more, we're feeling more competition than ever, we're feeling less satisfied, more dissatisfied with our lives, etc. And it just, something needed to change. So this is where I really started investigating the deeper issues, especially around the core. So I work specifically with moms, and this book is specifically about transforming the core of motherhood, because I feel like it's the core issue that's really going on, is that we think we need to do boot camp and push ourselves and diet and all these things, but that's actually the furthest thing from what especially new moms really need to do.
The very furthest thing. Yes. And you actually were training some mama bloggers at Channel 8 this morning. Hey, Ray. Nice to have you here. Nice to meet you just recently. Yeah, so you didn't get a chance to meet Jen. Yeah, I actually met you through the master's program.
Yes, and that was how many years ago now?
Just a year. Just a year.
One.
Oh no, you're right. It was 2 years ago.
Longer.
You did. It was 2 years because I didn't join the first year.
Yeah.
Because I needed to come into myself and some resources.
Yes. So I met you before that. Yeah.
Right.
So I was able to train people today, which was great.
Yeah.
I don't do any more in-person training. I only have my online video programs, etc. But this morning I got to educate some new moms about their pelvic floor, about their deep inner core, have them do a few movements, which they liked, they felt good, they learned stuff. All these moms, one lady was on her 6th child in her belly, she was the pregnant one, and she was like, nobody ever told me this. And I hear that so often.
Yeah, and she also said the doctors and the postpartum nurse don't say rest for 5 days. So share more about that.
So one of the things I always say is stay flat for 5. And what I mean by this is if you've just had a baby, not using the stairs, not going up and down, catering to everyone. Hey, can I make you dinner? It's like, no, sit, nurse the baby, or whatever you need to do, but sitting, lying, resting, recovering. The bleeding time postpartum way decreased, the healing time, all the things. But nobody talks about this. And we as new moms, we go, oh, I want to do all the things because now I don't have this baby in my belly, and it's like this new lease on life and energy that you didn't think you had. So unless you've gone through a very traumatic birth, you have a renewed sense of energy where you want to just take on the world. And this is a huge disservice to your body, specifically your pelvic floor and your deep inner core. And I can't emphasize it enough, because the injuries that you sustain as a new mom come back to haunt you later in life with incontinence or prolapse, back pain, neck pain, joint pain,
that one lady
etc.
was saying that she didn't know, and she had this intense neck pain and
Yeah, it was
and shoulder pain.
dislocating her actual ribs in her upper back from running, and she had no idea it was due to not core rehabbing.
And
It's unbelievable.
so for people that are not moms, because I'm not a mom, I'm a dancer, and I was exercising and I was doing all of that, but not getting my core strong. And so I was having injuries, not as bad as that poor woman who was running, but I was having injuries because I wasn't using my core. So I actually started studying
Awesome.
core exercises. So I'm actually interested in your book as beyond a mom. And where it can, so what are the applications for people that aren't moms that want to have that core strength? Because tell us more about core strength and how it affects people that aren't just moms.
Definitely it does. Everybody has a pelvic floor, that's the first thing. So male, female, we both have it. The important thing to understand is that most things, if this is our pelvic floor, kind of sits like a little bowl in our pelvis, there's a lot of pressure going down because we're standing, we're walking, depending on what we're doing, it can be a lot of downward pressure. So unless we're doing breathing exercises that counteract it and lift the pelvic floor, that's actually how you regain tone in your pelvic floor, but also it regains function of the entire deep core. So if the core isn't working properly, this is how it's supposed to work. If it's working this way, which can happen if men are lifting heavy weights, if women are, especially athletes, dancers, gymnasts, trampoliners, incontinence is very all over in those demographics as well. And the important thing to note also is that the core is just one piece of it. Because this is the physical core we're talking about.
Right.
But what I talk about in the book that goes even deeper in is the mind-body aspects of it.
Yes.
Because not only are women focused on getting their body back after having a baby, or just in general, we're wanting healthy core fitness if we're wanting to stave off incontinence or issues later in life. The important thing is that what I teach in this book is about slowing down. It's about breathing back into the now.
Could we do a little breathing?
Absolutely.
I've been having some of that stuff going on as I've gotten back into dancing. And
Absolutely.
So I would like to know some of these lifting things.
The important thing is, and I'll just kind of briefly explain this. So if you imagine that pelvic floor that I was talking about, the muscle that is the top of the deep core is your diaphragm, aka your breathing muscle. You use that to breathe. So the diaphragm kind of sits under your ribs.
This one.
And then your pelvic floor is kind of at the bottom. So this is sort of how you move. So if you can imagine, and you can actually close your eyes during this, so it'll help you. If you close your eyes listening, the closing of your eyes allows you to go within because you're not seeing visual stimuli outside of yourself. So this allows you to now start to connect deeper with your core and get out of the head, get into the core by starting to imagine these muscles of the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. As you're inhaling deeply through the nose, both of these go down. The diaphragm pushes down and the pelvic floor relaxes low. So as you inhale, you want to expand your rib cage left to right as well. So imagine ribs going out, pelvic floor, and diaphragm going down. At the end of your inhale, you imagine them all going up. The same as your ribs go back in. That's the most basic of it. And you want to think of it like down and up. I created an exercise that I call an inner size called pearl pull-ups. So you can actually imagine yourself picking up a pearl with your pelvic floor. Women, we have holes in our pelvic floor. You can pick up the pearl with any of those holes and it will work your pelvic floor differently. If you pick it up through the rear, you can feel different muscles up the deep core of your back. Same thing with the front and middle, so it is different. Men, same thing. You can make your penis dance in the front, yes, and you can pick up the pearl from actually pull it up in your anus, so you will feel it differently in the back. So this allows you to reconnect, and when you close your eyes, you create neural pathways, and then the more you do it and repeat, you strengthen those neural pathways to really make the core function properly. Because the core, and specifically the pelvic floor, is an anticipatory muscle group. So what that means is when you're just standing there, if you're about to walk, if you're about to lift, if you're about to shake someone's hand, your pelvic floor fires, it turns on in anticipation of movement.
Interesting.
Super cool. But when you're pregnant and all that pressure, it actually stops doing that. So it doesn't anticipate anymore, which is why the rehab and the reconnection of those neural pathways is so vital, because it's not working properly and you can lead to injury if you're constantly lifting, which you are as a human.
Yeah, and as a mom, you've got, Hey, Christy.
Hey, Christy. Wow. Yay. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah, I could feel the difference, and thanks for that. Is that information in your book?
The information is in the book. I also have an actual download where you can listen to me talking you through the exercise.
So how do we get access to that?
Yeah, we can put it right in the comments.
We'll do that.
We can put it right
definitely.
in the comments. It's on the breathing card that every book comes with. The instructions are right on the back. So
excellent.
That makes it really handy as well.
Very, very handy.
Simple. It's simple. And that's the thing. We think it needs to be so complicated. We think it needs to be push hard, do it, and just go. And it's the opposite of that.
You have so much knowledge, and you know your tribe so well. It was really a joy to watch you on live television.
So great having you. Thank you.
And I mean, you were so natural. Bree's here. Oh my gosh. And Yvette is here. Yvette is here too. Oh my gosh. So look who I have in San Diego. I'm so excited.
It's so fun.
Is there anything you'd like to leave people with, or could they ask maybe some questions?
Absolutely.
So if you have some questions, definitely. If you have some questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Let's see.
Even 20 years after kids. Thank you, Christy, for asking that. Yes, and I've been meaning to say this. That is absolutely the most important point, is that it is never too late. Your pelvic floor can be rehabilitated anytime. I had a client who was 70, I think she's about 7. That was about 3 years ago. She was about 75 or 76, so she's almost 80 now, and she was rehabilitating her core. She had a 50-something-year-old son, had always had back pain, had always had some kind of weird things, had incontinence forever, and she was absolutely, through the use of pelvic floor physiotherapy, which I recommend to everyone, and doing the concentrated inner sizes that allow you to restore the core, and then it can function properly again.
So we can get the inner sizes from your website.
Everything's available at LoveFitMama or JenOliver.com.
Yes, awesome. So let's see, who else? Does anybody else have a question?
Hey,
Yay, Bree. Yes, hi. Thank you, Yvette. So yeah, anyone else with any questions for Jen before we head off?
Another question I get all the time is around doing ab workouts after having a baby, and this is something I was displaying yesterday with the host on Palm Springs TV yesterday, and this is about crunches. And crunches is one of those exercises that we think, I want to get my abs back, I gotta get back in shape after a baby, and we go bust it out with all these crunches. And remember when I was talking about this, crunches actually takes this and pushes it all down, and it puts an enormous immense amount of pressure on the pelvic floor, which then leads to further incontinence, issues with prolapse potential. And a prolapse is where one of your organs falls through the vagina because of all the pressure. So it's not something anybody wants, because it severely affects your quality of life, and it is very, very bad news. So not doing crunches is what I recommend always, because there are so many other ways to get good ab and core workouts. But if you are going to do crunches, and if you're at a gym where everyone's doing them, or if you're in a class, everyone's doing it, what do? Don't do it. Either do the pearl pull-ups, or make sure that you're getting a good rehab program first, and then you can go back to doing things if you're going in that direction.
Yeah, crunches have never felt good to me. They just never have. It's
Biomechanically, they're
pelvic,
just not a good.
yeah, the pelvic tilt and awareness of the inner sizes. I love that. Do you have that TM'd?
Yeah, no, actually, it's like a word. Yeah,
It's a word,
I don't know.
inside.
I've just been using it. I'm like, maybe it's in the dictionary. I don't
Maybe
know.
it is, and maybe somebody else has TM'd it. But if not, you should check that out because I think that's inner size. I think that's a created word, and if you created it, you should TM that one.
That's funny. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Well, and my podcast is all about the work in to your workout. So it's really about the mind-body side of it as well, because the core and the breathing and the pelvic health and all that is really kind of a gateway to actually getting in deeper within yourself and calming the nervous system and calming the self-talk that's most often negative, and just allowing you to. It's pretty bad news when you're a new mom because there's a lot of pressures and. It's something we don't have to choose to take on,
and there's a lot of people that think that they know how best to raise your child, and if you're all anxious and you're doing all this hard workout that is actually putting different kinds of hormones into your body than what you really need, which is the calming hormones. Yeah. So doing your workout and going this
breathing
route,
is absolutely the best way because it's
then you're calm, and then people are going to, oh, she must be a great mom because she's so calm. Oh, you were okay. Yvette has one here. I was speaking to one of my clients who just had a baby. The stomach message separated with this helper.
Yes, great question. Great question.
Great
so here,
question.
I'm going to demonstrate. Here are your abs. So imagine the superficial abs or your six-pack. And what you have is, as you're growing a baby, they start to do what you called separating. And it's actually not a separation. What it is a thinning of what's called the linea alba. It's a piece of fascia that goes down the midline. So it just thins out. It's a beautiful adaptive response because you're growing a baby. It needs more space. So it just starts to thin out that fascia. But what happens is that fascia becomes thin. Once you have your baby, if you're doing things that put pressure, it keeps that gap open. And you can actually feel what it's called is a diastasis recti. It's a separation, and you can put your fingers in and feel, 2 fingers, 4 fingers, 5 fingers, and you can feel right into someone's organs. I've felt many a belly, and postpartum, sometimes 6 months, a year, I can still feel the organs inside because they haven't.
So they're not protected.
No, and it's actually dangerous, and it really it's dysfunctional core, and that's what leads to peeing everywhere, and it's kind of a mom joke. Oh, we just had babies, we're just gonna laugh and pee. It's not the way
funny.
You have to live. Yeah, it's not funny, actually. There's times when it really isn't funny. So that's definitely, absolutely, breathing is the first line of defense. Seeing a practitioner, whether it's a personal trainer, Pilates instructor, someone who is going to help you rehab the deep core. I really like Pilates because
belly
it is
dance
the same kind of breathing. Yes.
Belly dance, especially if you ask them to do the core. I have a belly dance instructor, and I came to her and I said, I love your classes. I need core work because I'm injuring myself.
Brilliant.
And so we just did
they
just
do know
core
a
work.
lot about the core.
Yeah, very much about the core. So that's another place too.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Just tell
Thanks,
her
Yvette.
it's only a matter of time, and sometimes it doesn't go back all the way, but we actually often don't know how did we start. Everybody's linea alba is different. So nobody was checking their diastasis prior to pregnancy, most likely. So that's why I love this information, so that people can get it before they have babies. Once they're pregnant, it's super important, and then postpartum, it's never too late to start now, read the book, all that stuff.
Yes, definitely. Read the book. We will put the Love Fit Mama away, and we will put that Transforming the Core Minutes. We'll add the links so that you can get the book, get the pod, get on Jen's podcast, and do the breathing, all that great info. It's all there.
Yes, Yvette, thank you. You can directly send her to the page.
Yeah, we're gonna plug it in here once we're done here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks, Gwen.
Absolutely, and of course this is day 268 of 365 days, or is it 9? I didn't check. I think I put in 8. I think it might be 9.
We can edit.
We'll edit. We'll edit after.
Editing as well as possible.
Editing is possible. So, asking the question, how do I love myself today? And you love yourself always, but is there some special way that you're loving yourself today, specifically?
I'm going to take some deep breaths today. That is going to be my self-love, because I talk about it a lot, and other than sometimes in my meditations, I don't always stop through the day and breathe. So today I'm going to soak it all up. Here I am in San Diego. I'm heading to LA flying up to San Francisco tomorrow to be on TV Thursday morning.
Wow.
And I'm going to really breathe through it because I have enjoyed it so much. And I remember on the first day last week when I started this whole TV tour, I was like, I really want to soak it all up. And I have been. I've been enjoying all the moments. So
That's so beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for myself, how I'm loving myself today is learning about the pelvic core, that pearl
pull-ups.
The pearl pull-ups. I'm going to be doing the pearl pull-ups today to love myself because I need those.
Yes.
I need those.
We all do.
We all do. Yes, and I love being able to feel what it felt like in the different areas. So
Yes.
thank you for
Yes,
all of that.
of course.
And
Thank
how are you
you.
loving yourself today? Yvette, I know we had DL and Bree and Christy was there and
Giacomo.
Oh, is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
I've always mispronounced his name. It's so
Giacomo. That's
Giacomo.
the
Oh, that's
best.
Giacomo.
Yeah, it's like Jock for short, or
Is
Jack.
it Jack?
Giacomo.
Oh,
maybe.
Giacomo.
Yeah.
Giacomo. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And you're
Italian name.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, he is from Europe.
Oh,
He's one of my
perfect.
friends. And then Ray, who we just met, is another. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Jen, you've been the most amazing guest. I appreciate the second chance having you on here on the Self-Love Experience. And if come back. If you're watching later, we'll have the links already in here. Stick around. We're going to go ahead and put the links in as soon as we're done here. And somebody is loving themselves by. Oh my gosh, we've also had Nicole. Nicole joined us. Awesome, and Chris too. Yay! And you are loving yourself by watching. Oh, we love you, Yvette. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, DL. And now, go love yourself.